one's a tough one.
Okay, I'll just start it from here then. What an awesome night, right? Okay. Welcome, everybody.
You're about to get some help, I think.
Oh, okay.
That thing comes.
It was taller.
Right there?
Yeah, it's fine. Thank you. Thank you, James. Okay. Welcome, everyone. I am Rick, the stuttering designer. More on that in a few minutes. Tonight, I'm going to be speaking to you about stuttering awareness. You know, this presentation can be done within 6 minutes in my head. But unfortunately, you'll be hearing the extended version because I stutter. Let's start with a show of hands. How many people know a person who stutters or has interacted with one? Wow. My goal is to provide you with a little insight into what many stuttering people struggle with every day. One day in elementary school, a substitute teacher was calling on different students to read aloud. This one time, she had something to do in between students reading, so I started to read quietly to myself. She must have noticed me. Who do you think she called on next? Me. Yep, it was a train wreck. You see, some people can read to themselves, and the stuttering might not be as noticed as much. But if that same person reads the same thing out loud, the stuttering could be more noticeable. I have some great high school memories, ones like being encouraged to join the speech team, where I started in storytelling and ended in dramatic interpretation, or having to compete against a fellow team member, receiving my first award at the last competition of my senior year. For many years, I've hid my stutter, and still do at times, for the fear of people laughing and teasing me, that feeling of being ashamed of it, asking that famous old question, why me? Sometimes I think to myself, what if I never had to stutter? What kind of person would I be? Would I be as patient or understanding? Could I do so much more in my life? I turn that same question to you. What kind of person would you be if you weren't struggling with that one thing in your own life? Here are 3 real-life struggles. Number 1, the old dreaded drive-through speaker. Picture this: driving up to the speaker and saying your order fluently. After a few seconds, you hear, "Can you repeat that, please?" I'm like, what? Number 2, talking with people I know on the phone can be easier. It's harder when I don't know the other person. The whole fear, anxiety, what? I can't hear you, and hang-ups happen. Some avoid the phone altogether. All of their communication is done through texting and not phone calls. Number 3, talking with people I know face-to-face can be easier. It's harder when I don't know the other person. Some people who stutter start to feel fear, anxiety, being ashamed, being judged, or teased and laughed at in this type of situation. I want to share with you a night that changed my thinking. While attending a Bible study in 2006 or so, I heard something that changed my thinking of one person forever. How this one person has done many amazing things. One that I'm sure a lot of us are familiar with, the parting of the Red Sea. That's right, I'm referring to Moses. For me, one important fact was rarely mentioned, or it didn't click until that night. The fact that Moses was also a person who stuttered. In Exodus 6:12, in the Message version, it says, Moses answered God, "Look, the Israelites won't even listen to me. How do you expect Pharaoh to? And besides, I stutter. Fast forward to 2018. I came up with 2 reasons for my why for sharing videos on social media. Number 1, as a marketing strategy, I put my stutter with my passion of design and came up with #StutteringDesigner. Also to attract potential clients and showcase clients' projects, provide graphic tips, and discuss graphic topics. Number 2, a form of personal speech therapy. Recently, I started a journey where it takes me from behind the scenes to in front. It's a place where I'm trying to stretch my comfort zone, but trying to make it even stronger. Most of all, not to let my stutter define who I am. Just like Moses, he didn't let his stutter define him. Yes, he had a stutter, but most people remember him for those amazing things, not his stutter. The Stuttering Foundation website states that more than 70 million people worldwide stutter, which is about 1% of the population. In the United States, that's over 3 million Americans who stutter. Stutters range from mild to severe. It affects so many different people, from boys to girls. At times it starts from a young age, and it might go away over time. But other ones have to deal with it for the rest of their life. Some might exhibit head or body movements, word blocks, or repeat certain characters, be able to sing, talk with an accent or funny voice, and be fluent, struggle with fear, stress, anxiety, etc. Also, stuttering cannot be turned off and on. Not all people who stutter the same way. I can't emphasize enough the importance of support groups where you find you're not alone. What I learned from these support groups, you shouldn't tell a person who stutters to slow down or just breathe. I also learned what are some pet peeves, not to finish their sentences for them. Mention their stutter is cute. Try to mock or act like a person who stutters. Make a comment on what they're trying to say. If you would like resources on what is stuttering, what causes stuttering, and can stuttering be cured, check with me afterwards. Also with your child's school for other resources. In closing, in our everyday busy lives, let's try to remember those people that might not be accepted or laughed at because they have a stutter, or people don't know what to say or how to react. Let's educate. People who stutter also have a voice and the right to be heard, just like anyone else does. Before I end, I would like to leave you with this. Tim Tebow is such a great motivator. I've heard him mention a phrase, not to let it define you. So today, whatever you're struggling with, do not let your struggle, that one thing, define who you are. How are you going to show people you're Moses? What amazing things do you want people to remember you by? My goal is to speak at events about stuttering awareness, just like this one, providing a little insight into what many stuttering people struggle with every day. In conclusion, I thought I left my presentation days in high school, so I thought. Thank you for your time.